Greetings to the learners of the university. Today we'll talk about your course on principles of marketing, which will concentrate on promotion. Now, as we all know, marketing has got four basic elements to it. You call it as marketing mix. These are nothing but ingredients which mixed up together will help a company to market their product to the target audiences. Now, you have these four P's which are called as the marketing mix, that is product, price, place and promotion. These are basically the traditional four P's which are there for products. The moment you shift to a service industry, you have got additional P's such as physical evidence, process, people, positioning. These are additional P's which are there. Now, whether a company is selling a product, that is a tangible good, or a service, there should be a mixture of all these ingredients in appropriate measures so that company can yield results for the consumer as well as for the company itself. Now, among the P's which are there, that is product, which concentrates on how the product is made, what all goes into making the product in terms of branding it, packing it, labeling it, how the product is actually developed, what strategies do you have in different stages of product life cycle. So all this goes into it, that is related to product. Second P, which is price, where you talk about how companies are pricing the product, whether you go, because when you enter into the market, you may have a skimming pricing, penetration pricing. Similarly, you can have prices which can be different depending upon competition, consumer demand, all those things. So pricing again is a strategy. Third strategy that you have got is promotion, where you talk about how do companies communicate with the consumer. That is the third one. Fourth one is place, where you talk about how do you distribute the product so that the product reaches the consumer. These are the four basic ingredients which we call as four P's of marketing: product, price, place and promotion. Then when it comes to service, you have got additional P's which you call as extended P's, like physical evidence, the atmosphere or the environment in which service is rendered. For example, a bank, what are the circumstances or surroundings in which banking services are rendered. If you travel to a flight, what is the ambience inside the flight, seating, leg space of the seats and all in the flight. That is again to do with physical evidence. Then you have got people. Whoever is offering that service also becomes very important. So people will be there. Then you say the entire process, for example, taking admission into the university. So you have a process for it so that you take the services of the university. So for a service industry, you call these as the P. Now, whether it is a goods which are tangible or whether it is a service industry, you talk about one essential element in marketing which is called as promotion, where you talk about communicating with that particular consumer, informing the consumer. So promotion is nothing but initiating and maintaining flow of communication between the company and between the target market. Whoever is the company, how are they initiating the process and how are they maintaining the process of communication? So how do I start communicating and how do I continue the communication between the company and between my target market is what is your promotion strategy. Now, how do you promote? You can promote by adopting various promotion methods. You can promote through something called as advertising. All these methods we will discuss in detail shortly. One method of promotion is called advertising. These are all a part of promotion mix. Like how you have marketing mix, 4 P's, same way you have got promotion mix, where we basically have 5 elements in promotion mix. The first element is advertising. The second element is sales promotion. The third one is personal selling. The fourth one is publicity and public relations. The fifth one is direct marketing. Apart from this, you have got multiple small other elements such as events and sponsorship and other things also which will come into picture. But basic are these 5 elements which go in for helping the company to promote a product. So let us discuss these elements one by one. The first element in promotion is your advertising. But before we enter into that part, let us first discuss about what things should be kept in mind when companies talk about promotion. First of all, you have to keep in mind who is your target market. Whoever, because say for example, if I am a company which is producing multiple products, then whether my target market comprises of people based on age group, for example, whether they are children, whether they are adults, whether they are middle-aged people, whether they are senior citizens, based on them. For example, a life insurance company, they may have policies for children, so children protection plan can be there. They may have policies which will talk about savings and investment for young people. They may have policies of retirement and pension plan for senior citizens. So as a company, when I am offering these products, I have to understand who is my target market. Based on that, I will have my promotions which can be designed. So first consideration or the factor which is affecting my promotions will be who is your target market. The second thing that I have to keep in mind is what is the positioning I want to enjoy in the mind of the consumer. See, most of the time it so happens that as a consumer, for example, if I ask you to name me a brand of noodles, first thing that will come to all our minds will be Maggi. Because Maggi has positioned themselves so strongly in our mind that is the first brand which will come to our mind when we talk about noodles. Same way, you see, the company Xerox has initiated the process of making photocopying machines. Today, no student or no person who takes a photocopy will say photocopy the material, but we all use the word Xerox because that has become synonymous to the word photocopying. So they have occupied that position in the mind of the consumer. So here the company will have to understand what is the desired position that you want to enjoy in the mind of the consumer. Based on that, your promotions will be different. Then you also have to promote your product depending on your product characteristics. What are the features of the product? Depending on that, the promotions will be different. You talk about, company which is selling two-wheelers and four-wheelers. Each one of them have got different product characteristics. So based on that, your promotions will be different. For example, companies which are selling multiple products, for instance, Hindustan Unilever or Wipro or Procter & Gamble, these are the companies which are MNCs which are producing different types of products. Based on this, their promotions will all be depending upon what are the characteristics of the product. Depending on that, I will design my promotion strategies which are there. Same way, I will also design my promotion strategy depending upon product life cycle and the stage in which my product is. Whether my product is in the introduction stage, in the growth stage, in the maturity or in the decline stage. Based on that, the promotions will be designed as such. Now, when you talk about promoting, the company can encourage either a push strategy, a pull strategy or both. Where you talk about promoting by sending message to the channel and channel will push the message to the consumer, or promoting from the side of the company where consumer gets attracted to the promotion and demand the product from the middlemen. So you have push or pull strategy. These are the basics which are there in marketing communication as well. Now coming to the main important factors which are involved in the entire process of communication, that is promotion, we talk about 5 elements. As I said in the beginning, there are 5 elements in the promotion mix: advertising, sales promotion, personal selling, publicity and public relations, and direct marketing. So each one of these 5 elements let us discuss in today's session. First one is advertising. Advertising, as we all know, has got a little technical definition to it, where we say it is nothing but paid form of non-personal promotion. There are 2 aspects to it: paid form and non-personal. Paid form means the company who is advertising will have to choose a media. Whichever media they are choosing, they have to pay to that particular media. So if I want my advertisement to come on television, which is broadcast media, or radio, then I have to pay to the channel. I have to sponsor that particular program in which my ad will come. That is your broadcast media. Similarly, if I make a choice of print media, I have to pay to the newspaper agency in whose newspaper my ad will come. So it is paid form. Similarly, if you are adopting digital marketing promotions, if you want Google to do it, YouTube to do it, you want LinkedIn or you want Twitter or you want Instagram, and you want your advertisements to be put on their social media platforms, then you have to pay to them. So it is paid form. Then you say that is the first part. Then second thing said non-personal. Now when you have advertisements, you don't put a tag and say that this ad has to be seen only by this category of people. For example, on television, when we have advertisements, everybody watches it. Similarly, advertisements in newspaper, we all see those advertisements in the newspaper. So it is non-personal. You don't say that this ad is to be viewed only by these category of people or read only by these people. You also see posters, billboards, hoardings when you travel on the road. Everybody sees it. So therefore it is non-personal. So you have advertisement, which is nothing but paid form of non-personal communication. Paid form because you are paying to the media on which the ad comes. Non-personal because it can be viewed, read, seen, heard by anybody as such. So it is paid form and non-personal communication. Now when you are choosing advertising as your medium of promotion of product to the consumer, you first of all have to determine who is your target market, what type of advertising you want, what is the message that you want to convey, whether the company has got their own advertising department or they will go for an ad agency, and what is it that they want to say. These points have to be kept in mind when you talk about advertising. So let us discuss these points one by one. First one is target audience. Depending upon who is my target audience, my advertisements will differ. For example, when you talk about products such as cooking appliances or detergent powders and all, your basic target audiences are housewives. So your promotions will have to be in and around them. On the other hand, if you talk about advertising a cartoon program or chocolates or kids apparel, then your promotions have to be diverted towards children. So therefore, depending upon who is your target market, your promotions will have to change when you advertise the product which you are promoting. Similarly, you also have to decide about the type of advertisement, because depending upon what is the process of adoption by the consumer, your advertisements will be different. For example, when you have entered the market, your advertisements will all be introductory ads because you are trying to promote your product by creating awareness. So your ads will be informative because your advertisements have to inform people. Look, we are a company, we are offering this product. So you create awareness among the consumer. So your ads will all be informative advertisements in the beginning. Then when the consumers have generated interest in your informative ads, now comes the stage where the company will have to inform. So the advertisements now will be descriptive. You are describing the entire product, you are informing the consumer, and you are elaborating upon how the product will be suitable to the need of the consumer. So from introductory to ad, you will now shift to informative ad because the consumers got interested in your product. Now when the consumers are starting to buy your product and evaluating and trying your product, now your ads will shift to something called as persuasive, comparative. You see so many brands which advertise on TV, you see they will popularize their brand by keeping some other dummy brand beside them, and they try to compare the advantages of your brand with the other product which is there. This is called as comparative advertisements, where you compare your brand with some other competing brand which is there in the market. So competitiveness will be there so that consumers make an informed decision about which product they will have to buy, because they are in the process of evaluating and trying that particular product. So your advertisements will here be persuasive and competitive in nature. Then your advertisements also will now be related to decision. You have to now tell the consumer that they have to end up buying the product. So your advertisements will all be related to direct action advertisements, whom to approach, how to approach to buy that particular product. So direct action advertisements. Then when you're confirming to the consumer that they have made a right choice of the product, your ads will be reminder. You have to remind the consumer that they have made a right choice of buying that product. So therefore your advertisements will be reminding. So here it depends upon the kind of advertisements which is there. Then message. What type of a message you want to give? So you have to be very creative in your messaging strategy when you create your advertisements. Most of the Indian ads are all very creative in nature in terms of choice of colors, choice of actors, the protagonist, the story which is woven around, which has to be narrated to the consumer, where the entire product concept has to be explained to the consumer. So this process is your process of crafting and drafting your advertising message copy strategy. Then you also have to understand about what is the goal of advertising. This is very essential. In advertising, you have to remember that there should be some objective with which you are advertising. That advertising goal is something called as DAGMAR. We call it as DAGMAR, which spells as DAGMAR. That is defining advertising goals for measuring advertising results. So DAGMAR approach we use, where we talk about a specific communication task which the company wants to accomplish among a defined target audiences to a given degree over a given period of time. So defining advertising goal and measuring advertising result. What is the goal of advertising? Am I advertising to persuade? Am I advertising to inform? Am I advertising to convince? Am I advertising to compete? So what is my goal of advertising? Based on that goal, I will measure my results. This process is called as measuring your advertising effectiveness, where you can measure effectiveness through sales. After promoting the ad, did your sales go up or not? What is the direct response towards advertisement? And what is the attitude of the people towards your brand when they have seen that particular ad? And how many consumers were able to recall that product after they have seen the ad? So that way you have advertising as the first ingredient in your promotion mix. Like how I said in the beginning, you have ingredients in promotion mix. The first one is advertising. The second one is sales promotion. Promoting your sales by using various incentives and tools so that consumers are attracted towards your product because of the incentives which you offer to the consumer. Those incentives are for a limited period of time, which are basically stimulating the consumer to buy more. Now these sales promotions are nothing but tools to incentivize buying behavior. Now these tools can be of three types. You can give the incentive directly to the consumer, so you call it as consumer promotion tool. You can give the incentive to the middlemen and you call it as trade promotion tool. Or you can give the incentive to your sales force and you call it as sales force promotion. So you can have promotional tools which are consumer promotion tools, which are trade promotion tools, or which are sales force promotion tools. These three are the promotion tools which are there. For example, when you say your consumer promotion tools, you can give a price discount. So whenever there are discount sales, as a normal consumer, the psychological effect is that we buy more when there is a discount sale which happens. So discount is an incentive to push sales. That is one. You can also have incentive in the form of bonus pack, buy one get one free. So that also is one strategy adopted by the company to push sales, bonus packs. Companies also give free trial. So when you introduce your product new in the market, there are a whole lot of free trials which will come. So the free pack which we get is a kind of an incentive for us. If we like the product, we buy it again. Then consumers can also be given refunds, rebates, where you have cashbacks and refunds which can be given when you buy more and more. For example, most of the aviation companies have got something called as patronage points that they add to the consumers who fly frequently with them. So you have frequent flyer packages which they announce where rebates will be given to them. That's an incentive. When you travel next through any airline, you book a flight with the previous one because they are offering you some kind of an incentive. That's a refund or a rebate that you have got. Then you can get coupons where it will entitle, that's a certificate. It's like a paper which will entitle you to some kind of a reward which can be attached. For example, if you buy some product, they may give you a coupon and say that you get a cooker free, or you get movie ticket free, and then or you get discount in your next purchase. So all these can be attached to your buying. So these are incentives which are given to the consumer. Consumers can also be asked to enter into games and sweepstakes and consumer contests when they buy something. So they like lotteries and draws. So you buy something, you enter into a draw or a lottery or a game. If you win, you bag the prize which is announced in that particular game. You can also have buyback offers, exchange offers which can be there. Like most of the time your brands like Prestige and all which are into cooking utensils, they offer a lot of exchange offers which are there in order to push your sales. So you have all these incentives which are given to the consumer so that the sales can be pushed. That is first. Second type of incentives that you have are the ones which are given to your middlemen, that is your dealer, distributor, wholesaler, retailer. To all of them it is being given. These are given to them so that they can push the sales to the consumer. For example, the dealer can get trade allowances, they can get free goods, they can get promotions of their store. You see most of the shops also have got their boards which are written along with the company's name. So the company is promoting their shop also along with promoting their products. So you've got all these promotion tools. Then sales force, naturally people who work in your office who are actually pushing sales to the consumer, you end up giving them, because the sales is target driven. If you achieve a particular target, they will be given more incentives on that. So that way even salespeople who are involved in the process of selling, they will also get lot of incentives if they sell more. So that way you have got trade promotion tools which are incentives to the consumer, incentives to the middlemen, incentives to the salespeople. That is the second category. The first one was advertising. The second one is sales promotion. The third one is personal selling. Personal selling is nothing but personal communication with your consumer through paid personnel of the company. Whoever are the paid employees of the company, they are being trained by the company to go and sell the product to the consumer by demonstrating the product and interacting personally with the consumer. That's why the word personal is being used here, where the company's paid people are actually interacting with the target audiences, understanding the perceptions of the target audiences, trying to pitch their sales to the target audiences and sell the product to them. So personal selling, that is called. This function of personal selling is age old. You've got advertising and sales promotion which are of recent origin, but if you see personal selling, it is very old. You had got since ages people who were peddlers, and they were they would go house to house and then they would sell the product. Today you've got personal selling which has become more prominent for products which need lot of demonstration, especially technical products which need demonstration. The companies engage in personal selling, which will be there. Now whenever a company is engaging in personal selling, there are certain steps in personal selling. The first step is called as prospecting and qualifying. I cannot do personal selling to everybody, so I have to first of all have a list of my consumer, profile my consumer, and then check who qualifies for personal selling. So first step will be prospecting and qualifying. Then you have to approach the consumer. So there's an entire process of how do you go about approaching them. Then you make presentation of the product to them. You present yourself. See, whoever are the salespeople who come to our houses and sell, they talk about who they are from which company, and what product are they selling. So therefore that is called as presentation. They have to introduce themselves to us, and only then we as consumers understand that these are the people who have come from so and so company and selling such and such product. So that is your presentation. Then they demonstrate the product. For example, you have brands such as Eureka, Forbes and all, who used to sell water purifiers. They were the first people to enter into the water purification products, and when they sold the products, they went house to house with the sales personnel carrying the water purifiers and explaining the process of purification to the consumer, because they were the first brand to penetrate into the market of water purifiers. So that way you have the entire process. The product has to be demonstrated to the consumer. So you have the steps in personal selling demonstration. Now during the process of demonstration, the consumer will have a lot of doubts. So the consumer will raise doubts and objections and all. So the personal selling personnel will have to handle the doubts and the objections which are being raised. Then once the doubts and all are clarified, then you go for closing of that particular sales, and then follow up whether the consumer liked the product and will they buy the product or not. So personal selling is the third ingredient in your promotion mix, which talks about paid personnel of the company, identifying the target audiences, interacting with the target audiences through the process of prospecting and identifying, approach, presentation, demonstration, handling complaints, closing the sales pitching, and following up with whether the consumers want the product or do not want. That is a third one in the process of promotion called personal selling. Now comes the fourth one, where you talk about public relations and publicity. Public relation talks about all the activities which a company undertakes in order to maintain and also improve they have to maintain, and they also have to improve what kind of relationship they have with other organizations in the society and with individuals in the society. So basically you are trying to identify beneficial relations between the company and between all the stakeholders. See, it is not only the consumer with whom you interact. It is the government to whom you pay taxes and get permissions for your product. It is the creditors and bankers and investors from whom you have taken money, so you are responsible to them. It is the general society which you are responsible to through the product that you are selling and the impact that your product has on it. And a whole lot of other people are involved who are all called as stakeholders. So you are responsible to all of them. So it is not only promoting the company's product and selling and making profit, but it is also fulfilling the needs of these stakeholders who want information from the company. So in the process of providing such information, the company will have to establish and maintain relationship with all these stakeholders. This is called as your public relations, maintaining and establishing beneficial relations between the company and all the stakeholders of the company. Publicity actually is a technique of public relations. Most people get confused between publicity being a way. Publicity is a technique of public relations, but publicity will be non-paid as such. Non-paid information about the organization services which are there. The moment you say public relations, what all does it involve? It involves news releases. We see news which comes about the company, which is released by the company itself. So news releases, press conferences which the companies will hold, lobbying with the corporates which the company will do. Company is also publishing annual reports. So when they publish annual reports, through their annual reports, they communicate with the stakeholders of the company. So that also is a part of your public relations. The company's own website is also a part of your public relations, because through website you give information to your target audience. So when you say news releases, press conferences, you are talking about consumers and general public. When you say lobbying, annual reports, you talk about corporates, government officials, you talk about employees of the company. When you say website and event sponsorship, you talk about stakeholders. So you have publicity and public relations there. The last element of promotion is your direct marketing. Direct marketing is all about company having to communicate directly with the consumer without involvement of any middlemen. There are no middle intermediaries who are involved, but the company is trying to communicate with the consumer directly. This they can do by selling direct mails. We get newsletters, we get promotion material directly from the company to our houses. So that is direct mail. You can have company catalogs. There is no middleman involved, but the company has got a catalog of their products which they produce, and through that catalog the company will communicate to the consumer. So catalogs of the company is a part of direct marketing. You have advertisements which are aired on the television, internet, radio, broadcast media, which is done directly by the company. For example, you talk about this tele brands. You know, you have got a dedicated channel which only is promoting brands of different companies through television. So that is also a way where directly the company advertises on these tele brand channels directly to the consumer. Interactive TV, because a toll-free number keeps scrolling, and as a consumer I can directly call and inform the company. Then you've got telemarketing. Marketing people of the company calls all of us, and then they inform us, you know, we get so many calls, right? Do you want a loan? There's a land which is available for sale, or some products which are there. These are calls which we get directly from the call center of the company. That is also a part of direct marketing. Then you have kiosk. Company can also place, you know, a small tentative setups like tents and all, which are called kiosk. Banks, for example, have got their ATM vending machines which are called as a kiosk. Through them also you do promotions, which is directly by the company. So in today's session we spoke about promotions which have got all these 5 elements to it. You had got promotion which can be done nothing but establishing and maintaining communication by the company to their consumers. This can be done through 5 forms: advertising, paid form of non-personal communication, sales promotion, giving incentives to consumers. Then you talk about your personal selling, paid personnel of the company promoting the product, publicity and public relations, having to inform the stakeholders about the activities of the company, direct marketing, promoting your product without involving any intermediaries by the company. These are the 5 ingredients which go as a part of your promotion mix, because promotion mix is an important ingredient in your marketing mix. So unless your promotion do not go well, your whole of marketing mix can also be destroyed. So promotions occupy an important place in your entire marketing plan. Thank you so much.